Oh, hello, I am John Morell, and I am in my home studio in the beautiful Catskill Mountains in upstate New York, and I have a question for you. What do you get when you combine Monika Cioch, one of my favorite YouTubers, with Navitus parfums? Well, you know what? We're about to find out because the package came today. Monika Cioch's new fragrances.
Morell Fragrance Review. Here comes the swag. John Morell Fragrance Review. Here comes the swag. Fresh and dope like heroin soap. That man's got swag.
All right, so, originally I did like an unboxing, right? But no one cares. No one wants to watch me open a USPS package, right? I know that when people do it, I fast forward through it. So I already opened it, but I have the full presentation. So let's check it out. There's two fragrances, Carte Blanche and the Embrace, okay? And Carte Blanche is supposed to be more masculine. It's a year-round fragrance. We're going to check it out, though. And by the way, I can tell you right up front, I think both fragrances can be worn by anybody. But for some reason, Carte Blanche, they kind of, at least on the website, said it was more masculine. I actually don't know if I agree, but I've been wearing these all day, so I can talk about them. I had them on, it's 6:04 now, and I've had these fragrances on since about 11 a.m. All right, so I can give you a pretty good idea of what they're like. All right, so first one is Carte Blanche. That's the first one we're going to talk about. Okay, this is the full presentation. Pretty cool. So that's the box. Okay, slides. Okay. And so here is the box with the fragrance, and then you open it like so. Okay, let's get over here. There we go. Okay, pretty cool box. I have a feeling all Navitus fragrances come similar, right? Has the note breakdown right here. Okay, there you go. Monika Cioch, Carte Blanche Parfum, Navitus Parfums. And there you go. And that is how it comes. Beautiful bottle in my opinion. I really, really like it. So let's talk about the fragrance. What do we get? All right, so I've been wearing this on my left hand all day, and it's still there. So that's good news. First good news, right? But top notes on this. This is considered a year-round fragrance, okay? Described as such. And the top notes are Sicilian bergamot, Agreste accord. Agreste is like a, I had to look that up. I did look it up as a gooseberry. So I guess it's a gooseberry. And I don't know what gooseberries smell like, to be honest. So, yeah. But Guatemalan cardamom and Italian mandarin. And the opening on this is very, very good. So the heart notes are grilled almonds, driftwood, benzoin, and Java vetiver. Base notes, Peru balsam, Madagascar vanilla, Indonesian patchouli, ambergris, and musk. And you know how I love my ambergris. You know how I love it. Now, the opening, the reason I kind of went through, because the opening, for me, I don't get just the citrus and the fruit. It is a bit sweet, not too sweet. I actually get the cardamom for sure, keeps the sweetness from being too much, but I get the grilled almonds right away. Grilled, I don't know, but I get I get an almond note right away because it almost gives it this. It smooths it out. It really dries down smoothly to that vanilla, to the patchouli, to the musk, and the ambergris gives it a little bit of that animalic, just a tiny bit of the animalic. But this thing is smooth. This is a smooth fragrance. This is like, I'm obsessed with it. You know, if I do a Fresh to Death today episode anytime soon, I would imagine this is going to be on it because this is just, wow. I'll tell you right now, this is really good. If you like citrus, there's enough of it there for you. But if you don't like citrus, I actually think it's smooth enough for you to go, okay, this is the kind of citrus I could do. As many of you know, I do like citrus fragrances, but this doesn't have a whole lot of that. This is a very, very well-rounded, very well-blended fragrance. Like I said, I get the bergamot, I get the mandarin, and get the cardamom. And I guess it would be the gooseberries or the Agreste accord that gives you a little bit of that sweetness as well. But again, the almonds really smooth. I mean, that is a really interesting really interesting blend. The almonds smooth that out to almost like a creamy, not creamy accord, not quite, but it really is. I mean, this is just a nice blend. So I love this. And then as it dries down, it becomes softer. But so performance. It projected for about, I'm going to say 2.5, 3 hours. So it projected well. I'm talking arm's length, I would say, about arm's length. So, and I will say I didn't go crazy with the sprays, so I gave it about 2 sprays in my hand. And let me, you know what? I'll show you the atomizer is great. So great atomizer, right? Man, this is good. This is really good. And so the atomizer is great. And it projects for about, like I said, 2.5, 3 hours. The dry down, and you get, I will say this is such a nice blend. It doesn't change a whole lot. It doesn't take you on a huge journey. I say it's fairly linear, but it does obviously become a little less bright as it goes on, just a little bit, but it's fairly linear, and I enjoy that. Listen, I don't know about you. When I smell something originally and I love it, I'm hoping, oh boy, I hope it stays like this. This does stay basically the same all the way through, except some of the citrus is toned down as it goes on. I love this. I absolutely love it. It's like it's my fragrance right now. I'm really into it. So, and the longevity. So as I said, it was 6:04 when I started, and I just sprayed some on, but I sprayed this on at 11. Actually, to be fair, it was 11:30. So 11:30. So when I was smelling it, when I just started, it smelled. It wasn't a skin scent yet. I mean, again, it wasn't projecting, but it was above the skin. And we're talking, what is that? We're talking almost 7 hours, almost. So 6.5 hours later, it's still there. And it's still, believe me, if you walked into a room and you got close to someone, they'd smell you. Again, not a skin scent, so not where someone has to come up on you, but not projecting. But I would say projected for a good 3 hours. And it was just, it's amazing. My wife really enjoyed it. She really. Now, as far as time of the year, I do think this is an all-year fragrance. I will say, though, I do think it's definitely a spring-summer fragrance. For sure, I just, especially when it first starts out, man, I could see you wearing this on vacation. I think this is really, really good. I can imagine wearing this pretty much anywhere that's warm or there's wet. But because it's such a smooth fragrance and it's not necessarily, it's not too summery. So I do think you could wear this all year. I do. I'd love to see how it does in the cold. Although it was a little, it was about 60 here today, which isn't cold, but this was great. I mean, I wore this outside. It cut through the 60-degree weather for sure. I think it would perform well in the heat. So I am interested to see how it does in the winter and the cold weather. But this, in theory, could be an all-year fragrance for sure, year-round fragrance for sure. And there you go. That is Carte Blanche. Fragrance is the Embrace. Same sort of setup, right? So I don't have to go through but yeah, same setup, same box, same everything. Again, there we go. Okay, has the notes on the card. It's called the Embrace. Okay, there it is. The Embrace. I'm a fan of this as well. This is different. Okay, so just give you an idea. Now, this does take you on a journey, by the way, and I'll talk about that. But top notes in this are bitter orange, Indian sesame, South African almond. Okay, heart notes, honey accord, and coffee absolute. Base notes, Haitian vetiver, Virginian cedarwood, and Madagascar vanilla. And let me tell you, you get it all in this one. This one, you get it all. So when you first spray this on, this was interesting because the top notes are supposed to be bitter orange, right? And so the bitter, here's what I found fascinating about this. I sprayed this on my hand, and my wife wore this all day, by the way. She loved this one. She just loved it. So I sprayed, and this is supposed to be unisex, but again, I believe both of these fragrances are unisex. I believe that, and as we know, I believe people can wear whatever they want. So I think everything's unisex, but I don't think they lean one way or the other, masculine or feminine. I really don't. This one's darker. So when you first spray it on, it becomes a dark fragrance. To me, I got the honey for sure. the coffee right away. That's what I got, even though those are the heart notes or the middle notes. About an hour, and now this is closer to the skin. When I say that, I don't mean it's a skin scent immediately. It just doesn't project. I don't think it's meant to be. I believe it's called the embrace. I think it's supposed to be sort of a date night scent or, right, an intimate scent, and it is. So you have a little bubble around you for sure. It doesn't project far out or anything like that, but it's still on me now. So again, the performance as far as longevity is good on this. Here's what got interesting. About an hour and a half into it, then I smelled the bitter orange. It was fascinating because I thought to myself, this is a pretty dark fragrance, like right away. And again, I didn't know what the notes were. I always start to wear something before I know what the notes are. And then I look as I start to go, what is that? If I can't figure it out, or I think I have figured it out. And about an hour and a half, 2 hours into it, I got a citrusy note. And I'm like, wow, that's really interesting. I mean, because I smelled the coffee. I knew it was coffee. I didn't know it was honey. Yeah, I mean, I got the honey for sure because it was a tiny bit sweet. I thought maybe sugar cube or honey, right? It's hard to tell, right, when the sweetness comes in, but it's honey, coffee. I got that right away to me. The almonds make sense because, again, that almond really is interesting. I don't have a lot of almond fragrances, I don't think, but I think it smooths everything out. So I think that's what happened here. Again, it was very smooth. And then, again, hour and a half, 2 hours into it, all of a sudden I smell a citrus. And I'm like, wow, this is interesting, like this far into it. And so I looked, and bitter orange. So the bitter orange to me came in about an hour and a half, 2 hours in. And since then, again, so it takes you on a journey because the bitter orange stayed for about an hour. That's it, an hour, maybe a little longer. And then it left. And then I started getting some vetiver, the cedarwood, the vanilla. So that's when I got that. And that's where we are now. And I still smell the coffee. The coffee sticks around. The coffee sticks around the whole time. But now I have the vanilla, the cedarwood, the vetiver. This is a really good fragrance. This is much, much different than the other one. They're not similar in any way. This one is a nighttime, fall, winter, date night fragrance. I think you can wear this any time of the year, but nighttime for sure. This, to me, is in no way a warm weather fragrance, unless it's a nice cool night or date night. Listen, my wife absolutely loved this immediately. She wore it all day. As soon as she smelled it, she put it on. This is really, really good. And so this is a great date night fragrance. And as far as date night, any time of the year. But besides that, I think you're going to wear this early spring, fall, winter, and then, like I said, cold nights. But this is great too. I mean, I love these. I'm kind of obsessed with these fragrances, which makes sense because it seems like every time Monika recommends something to me personally, in her videos, I'm acting like she's like, oh, Monika and I chat, and she recommends fragrance. I'm saying when she recommends fragrances in her on her channel, I don't think there's anything yet that I haven't liked when I picked it up, and so I had a feeling this would be good, but I paid for them, obviously. So if I didn't like them, I probably just wouldn't review them. I don't know if I would, because again, I don't ever want to crap on, I do consider Navitus kind of an indie maker, certainly Monika, but I love them, both of them. I love both of these fragrances. They are totally worth picking up, but I will say there was a really, really excellent deal where I believe it was 2 for 1. If you got, and it might still be on. I was on the website today, and I think it might still be on, but if it is, it's almost over. I know that they were going to stop doing it when they sent them out on April 27th, but I think I saw it on the website today. So it was $198 for both fragrances, which is an amazing deal. $100 fragrance. I mean, right? I mean, these are very good, and the longevity's there on both of these. Now, if I had to pick one, which I don't, because I have both, but if I had to pick one, depends time of the year. Honestly, I will say this. I think you all know me by now, and Carte Blanche is I probably like Carte Blanche better because I do like that citrus, and I do like those kind of fragrances. So I would say Carte Blanche is probably my favorite, but they're both excellent. I would go as far as to say I think Carte Blanche is stunning. It's a stunning fragrance. So, but I think they're both excellent, and this is just an amazing. I will wear this all the time. I know my wife will. My wife just loves it, so I will wear this all the time. Fall, winter for sure, early spring. Man, it's good. It's good. It's a little gourmandy, to be honest. And I think I mentioned I'm not a huge fan of gourmand fragrances, but this is really good. I mean, it's really, really good. It's gourmand enough for those of you who might like that, but it wasn't too gourmand for me to go, because I don't like I said before, I don't like to smell edible. If they'd added like a chocolate to this, it would have probably put it over the top for me. I think they got it right where it needs to be, right in the sweet spot. So now, you know me, I don't recommend anyone ever blind buys anything, although I blind buy everything at this point. So, I mean, I blind buy everything. Where are you going, right, to smell anything at this point? And you couldn't smell these ahead of time. I don't think, I'm guessing there's no samples, so you'd have to blind buy it. To me, totally worth the blind buy. Now, as far as, I think they're great. Mass appealing, too. I do. I think they're mass appealing. So I'd be curious to see, I'm going to send samples out to Ryan because I'd be curious to see what Ryan thinks. Ryan's the hardest. He doesn't like anything. I mean, he does, but he's very specific. So, watching you, Ryan. So, but I think these are amazing. And would I recommend a blind buy, which is kind of the only way you can get it? I would if you have the money, especially the 2-for-1. I think it's just an outstanding deal. You can't beat it. But you decide. I don't want people blind buying them at full price and going, you told me, hey, we're all different. I love these. In fact, they're two of my favorite fragrances right now. And I think Carte Blanche is going to be one of my favorites for a really long time. So much so is why I was on the website today looking to maybe buy another one. So I get a backup bottle. But I loved it. And so Monika Cioch and Navitus and the perfumer, well, there's two different perfumers on this. That's fascinating. I didn't know that. So the perfumer for the Embrace was Sydney Lancasseur. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. Lancasseur. Okay, so that was that was the perfumer on that one, which I just assumed they were the same one, but I don't think that's true. And the perfumer on Carte Blanche is Bertrand Duchefort. I am saying that right, Duchefort. I'm sorry. You know what? Maybe I should have looked the names up and had someone pronounce them for me. But they're both just absolutely amazing fragrances, in my opinion. And if you want them, get them. If you don't, that's cool too. But good job, Monika and Navitus. We out.
John Morel, Fragrance Review. Here comes the swag. John Morel, Fragrance Review. Here comes the swag. Fresh and dope like heroin soap. That man's got swag.